Hi KBI. We're going to practice sculpting. So when you're going to ready to begin practicing making your porcelina blue solution, this is the odor one. It's quick setting and it comes in beautiful shades by Sheba Nails. So when you're ready to work with acrylic, the best thing is to use your nail textbook. We're going to turn to page 124, it is here, and I'm going to put a piece of plastic. A plastic will work better because then you can keep on practicing over and over again on working your monomer and your polymer to be the right consistency, and to work with your brush so that you become familiar with exactly how much liquid you need in your brush and how much powder to dip in. So I'm first of all I've clipped it to my page with a couple of clips so that they'll stay on here, and hopefully there's not too much reflection there that you can see well. And then I'm going to take my eyedropper, and it's best and safest to squeeze out the liquid with your eyedropper into your dappen dish. And you do need enough that you can dip your brush into the dappen dish. You can't just work with a very small amount. You need about a quarter, half full, or maybe full almost to the top if you're doing a whole set. So I always fold it up a sheet of paper towels, or Bounty paper towels, as I've mentioned before, are the best. And I'm going to put this on my working side. So that means if you're left-handed, put it over on your left side so you're not reaching across your work area. If you're right-handed, put your acrylic and your liquid on the right side. So let me show you here. See how I have it set up. I have my brush cleaner so that I can clean my brush. I have my files. I have my powders here so that everything is organized. I have a dust brush and everything ready to be able to practice. Now I'm going to suggest that you use your pink or white to practice your formulation because if you practice with clear, you're not going to be able to see it very well. So this is one of my, what is it, double dark pink? That's in my crystal jar here. So I'm going to start with that one. Also a really great product that's newly out. I have had them over the years before, but Sheba Nails has created a whole collection of odor out droplets. And so what we're going to do with this is add a few drops into our monomer, because this is a odor monomer. It's low odor, not as strong as some. And the new collection is fall scents. So this one's apple cider, there's cinnamon, pumpkin. So we've got some really nice gingerbread cookie scents. So just add 3 or 4 drops, and that's going to help to camouflage the scent of the monomer. Yeah, very, very nice scent. So your products that you're going to need, I recommend that you have your brush cleaner so that you can dip and clean your brush before it hardens. You'll need your sculpturing nail brush. I prefer the Kolinsky's. This is another Kolinsky that I like. And as you can see here, mine's a little bit hardened. So I'm going to soak it now while I'm waiting into my brush cleaner. So brush cleaner, Kolinsky brush, dappen dish, your acrylic powder, and you can have a couple of colors of your acrylic powder or some of the fluorescents even. And then I have my my nice cuticle oil, because after I'm done cleaning my brush and I'm all done practicing, I'm going to condition it with brushing on some of the cuticle oil, and that will keep it from hardening. And if there's any acrylic in there, I'm going to be able to clean that out still before it totally hardens. And then have an orange wood stick so that you can clean out your brush and make sure that all the acrylic is scraped out. So So let's just check this brush and see how long. I would be careful too, if your brush has a painted handle, to not dip it all the way in, because it might, it will definitely eat away the paint if it stays in there too long. So I just leave it in for a few minutes or just a quick rinse. Yep, so there, it came out. A little bit stuck right here, so maybe we'll leave it in again. Yeah, there's a little bit right on the one side of the bristles. Now, when we're talking brushes, I'm going to go through the brush parts. So it is in your book here, just before, it's around 120 probably, because your acrylic section is 124, where it shows you all the different ways to practice. So we have the handle. You're going to hold it in a nice formation like a pencil or like an artist brush. So then we have the reservoir. The brush reservoir holds all of the bristles in here, so they are come down to about here. They're squeezed and glued in, and the reservoir holds the excess liquid, the monomer, up here. So then when we have the next part of the brush, when we use it, it is the root. The root is where we're going to squeeze out the excess liquid so that the acrylic melts onto the nail plate right away. And then we have the brush, and there's several parts of the brush. We have the full body of the brush, and we'll use that for patting and for smoothing. Then we have the tip of the brush, which we only use for picking up the liquid and twisting it off. Picking up the powder and twisting it off. Then we have the knife edge, which is the skinnier edge of your brush, which you're going to use for cleaning the cuticle area and beveling the tip, and also bringing the sides in, the side walls, and the length. The body of the brush is used for smoothing and thinning out or stretching the product. We never use the tip on the product, on the nail, except for twisting and rolling off the ball. If we use the tip to push back, you're going to dig holes in it, and you'll also push air underneath the acrylic, which will start to make an air pocket, and it won't be bonded into the nail plate properly. So let's check our brush for if it's clean now. Yes, it looks like that's dissolved. So always be sure that you do this cleaning process before you set your brush down, and then we're going to condition it to ensure that all of the acrylic is out of it and that nothing's going to harden in the brush when you're storing it. And then if we're going to use the acrylic right away, the brush, I would just clean it and rinse it in alcohol so that you're not having it diluted with the oil. But just to store the brush, and you can see how it'll come back to a nice point. This is a little bit bigger of a Kolinsky cat tongue, a little bit more of a round shaped brush. I don't like them round so much because I find that they tend to spread more. See how it doesn't stay with a nice point, whereas this one is a Kolinsky cat tongue, or a flat Kolinsky. So you notice I have my monomer on the outside because I'm left-handed. It would be on the right side if you're on your right-handed. And I'm going to dip my full brush in there, wipe it 1 or 2 times on the side of the dappen dish for a large formulation ball. And then I'm going to dip just the tip in and draw a big circle. There's several methods. You could draw it across, or you can do a circle. And now, since I picked up so much of the powder, it's a little bit dry. So let me see whether we can roll it off. So I'm going to twist the brush by rolling the point. Yeah, I got it rolled off, and then I'm doing an X with my brush, twisting the point to keep it pointed just to wipe off the excess acrylic. And then I'm going to pat it down with the root of my brush, which is a little bit too dry, so you can see where that's not going to work too well. So let's just scoop it off. this is where you need to practice how much liquid you want to pick up with your brush and how large of a ball you're going to pick up. So you want it to look nice and wet like that, but it shouldn't be too wet that it's going to run or fall off. When we're working with sculpting, we're going to begin at the free edge onto the form itself, not on the nail plate. So this is good. We want it to actually do that where it just melted in and created a nice flowing acrylic formulation. It's a little bit too wet maybe. Also, my room is cold. When you're working in a colder room or cold hands with the client, if their nails are cold, you're going to find it's going to be a little bit slower setup. Now you notice when I pat it a bit, that is going to make some bumps. So it's probably best that you actually just learn to work with the side walls, pulling them in, the length so that it's a proper thickness, and then the other side wall and letting it flow. Okay, so then the next ball, dip the acrylic in. Let's pick up a little bit, make a firmer putty-like formulation. And let's then extend it to the full length here that the form shows. And this is better formulation. It's not quite so runny. It still will flow nice though. So let's lay the brush, the body of our brush down, and then let's pull up the sides. And you notice I'm really not going to brush over it because that's just going to pull it all down. The only thing that I will do is allow it to be beveled, which means that it thins right down to a nice slope so that you're not going to have a thick edge on the free edge. And then let's perfect the shape, the length, and there we go. It's kind of a translucent pink, so you're getting a little bit of a see-through. And then if you need to thin one side, look at it straight on so that you can actually level it out, push it out right away so that it's not going to start to set and have a lump. All right, so then this is zone 1. I had to extend to zone 1 to make it longer, so second ball in zone 1, but usually you can do on regular human nails the zone 1 in one putty-like large ball. Okay, wipe your brush before you dip again. Let me just show you that. So I'm wiping and twisting it like an X, but rolling it. So Bounty towels or real terry towels work the best to actually pull out the acrylic. There we go. So then second ball is right on the above the free edge. It's the crown area, or they call it the apex. It's going to be medium size. It's going to be a little bit wetter, not quite so firm. And I'm going to roll that off. Wipe my brush quickly and then just pat it to level it out, but don't push it back. Don't do this because then see how we dig holes. It's still going to flow in, but you want it to melt into that nail plate and securely bond. If it starts to harden and you are pushing it in, you're actually pushing air into the nail plate underneath the acrylic, and then you're going to get seams, thickness, ridges, bumps, and also especially that it won't be sealed. It'll lift or pop much easier, whereas you want it to flow really nicely. Yeah, so there we go. And it is really cold in my room today. The temperature has just dropped here in Windsor, and my heater's just down on my feet and my legs, so it's taking a little while to set up. But let's take a look at that. And then if this is a real nail, we're going to build up another ball. We would actually, our third ball, first one is the zone here. Second one is on the crown or the apex, like the center of the nail, joining and crossing over the free edge line, the smile line. Third ball is a small wet one that we do around the cuticle. And if you need a fourth one to build up the smile line and the center of the nail so that it has strength here, we should add one more. So 4 is often needed to build up strength just in the center. So I'll keep my book up here so that you can see, because it was pretty flat. You don't want a flat nail. You want it to be higher in the center, like a tree ring, and then thin out at the edges. So that's better. Okay, just got a little bit, maybe we'll do one more ball there. So high in the middle, just think of tree rings so that that crown and the apex has some strength to flex, but you don't want it too thick back here, because if it is bumped, it's going to pop rather than bend. The strength is in the powder, so a more wet formulation gives you more flexibility so that the nails don't pop. A dry putty formulation gives it more strength, which is needed for the free edge of a sculptured nail. So there we go, we've got a nice sculptured shaped nail. So you can see how we did up here. It shows, yeah, it shows pretty good on the camera. We did like a baby boomer or a French fade with the two colors. This one's all solid in a translucent pink. These are clear. This has got some bling in it. So you can practice that, and that's really what I would do before you actually start on the trainer hand. Then after you've done 5 sets of trainer hand sculptured nails, I would try them on a real person. And then for your fill, for the refill, I would do a refill on a real person and reshaping, because then you'll be really good by then and you'll see how they grow out, where they need to be fixed. And I'm making a new video right after this to show my own nails and how to reshape them. Okay, so good luck, KBI. Keep on working. Proud of you.